Hey everyone, just going to take a few minutes to explain what you need to do to complete the Poetry 1 assignment this week. All right, so we shifted gears, finished up with our short drama unit, and now we're moving into our poetry unit. And here in week 2, you were asked to go over the lessons on chapter 17 and chapter 18. All right, and so what this assignment is going to do is sort of work with some of that information that was in those 2 lessons. So if you haven't gone through them yet, you want to make sure you do. All right, you're going to do this in a text submission. So you'll just type your responses right into the text box. And you don't have to attach anything. Please don't type your responses in the comments box either. Make sure it's in the text box for the actual response. And then the next thing you need to know is make sure that you do not do any outside research for this assignment. Okay. You can use the information from the PowerPoints and video lessons on chapter 17 and 18. In fact, you should, but do not do any additional outside research. Okay. I want you to use the information that's provided for you and your own thoughts to answer these questions. Okay. All right. So task 1 has 2 parts to it, 2 questions. Task 1 says, on slide 8 of the chapter 18 PowerPoint, you read the poem My Last Duchess and watched a video about that poem. In the chapter 18 video lesson, we discussed the persona of that poem. Persona. Now, go back to the poems Porphyria's Lover on slide 9 and Siren Song on slide 10 and answer these questions. All right? Please number your answers as you type your responses. All right? Using question 1 here, using the information from slide 9 of the chapter 18 PowerPoint and video lesson, explain how the poem Porphyria's Lover relies on persona. Meaning, what do we learn about the poem's persona? Be specific and thorough with your response. So again, this information is already provided for you on slide 9 and in the video lesson where I go over that part of the PowerPoint. That information is what you'll use to answer this question. Question 2, according to the information from slide 10 of the chapter 18 PowerPoint and video lesson, explain how the poem Siren relies on persona. Meaning, what do we learn about the poem's persona? Be specific and thorough with your response. Again, go back to slide 10 from the chapter 18 lesson. That is where I discussed this poem, Siren, specifically what we learn about its persona. The slide will give you certain information. The video lesson will give you more information. Right? Task 2. On slide 11 of the chapter 18 PowerPoint, you read the poem My Papa's Waltz and watched a video about that poem. In the chapter 18 video lesson, we discussed the tone of that poem. Now go back to the poems Those Winter Sundays on slide 12 and Barbie Doll on slide 13 and answer these questions. And again, number your responses. Question 1 here in task 2. Using the information from slide 12 of the chapter 18 PowerPoint and video lesson, how would you describe the tone of Those Winter Sundays and what words, phrases, or images make you feel that way? How does the tone of this poem relate to the overall message or theme? Be specific and thorough with your response. Again, I cover this on slide 12 and in the video lesson for chapter 18. Question 2 for task 2. Using the information from slide 13 of the chapter 18 PowerPoint and video lesson, how would you describe the tone of Barbie Doll? And what words, phrases, or images make you feel that way? How does the tone of this poem relate to the overall message or theme of the poem? Be specific and thorough with your response. Again, all of that is covered on slide 13 and in the video lesson for chapter 18. You have 4 questions here. In task 1, you have a question about the persona in Porphyria's Lover. and a question about the persona in Siren Song. In task 2, you have a question about the tone of those winter Sundays and a question about the tone in Barbie Doll, right? The 2 questions in task 1, these 2 poems, you're focusing on the persona. Here in task 2, these 2 poems, we're focusing on the tone. Again, everything you need to answer these questions is in the chapter 18 lesson, the PowerPoint and the video lesson. Use that to your advantage. I will also say right now, these poems, all 6 of them, the 2 you have questions about and the 2 that were used as examples in the lesson. So My Last Duchess, Porphyria's Lover, Siren Song, My Papa's Waltz, Those Winter Sundays, and Barbie Doll. All of those show up on the drama and poetry exam in this manner, talking about the persona of the first 3 and the tone of the second 3. So the better you answer these questions on the persona of these 2 poems, and the better you answer these questions on the tone of these 2 poems, the better you will be prepared for the drama and poetry exam, because you will be asked to look at the personas and tones of these poems. They will be short answer responses, like you will have to type in responses, not multiple choice, not fill in the blank. You will have to write responses on these poems. This is where you prepare for that. The information is provided for you in the chapter 18 lesson, right? So try to have that in by Sunday night. If you have questions or run into problems, definitely reach out and I will help however I can.